What up, YouTube? FD White back with another episode. Welcome to the channel. So it's been a thing that I've been seeing recently on the internet. A lot of traders, a lot of amazing traders on X, on YouTube, talking about trend lines, talking about patterns, talking about this, talking about that. They have all these advanced strategies that they use, all these mathematical equations, all these indicators, all these oscillators that they use. That is good. That is good. Don't get me wrong. But to negate the fact that patterns and trend lines don't work is crazy to me. We're going to just look at recent Bitcoin price action. We're not going to look at no indicators. We're not going to look at any oscillators. We're not going to look at no moving averages. We're going to look at simple patterns, support and resistance, and we're going to see how it would have fared out if you would have just traded these simple strategies. And I'm not saying that I'm not using oscillators. I'm not using indicators, money flow, volume as confluence with my basic trend line trading or pattern trading. But to negate the fact that these don't work or these aren't the precursor to everything else is crazy. I think everything is just built on patterns and trend lines and support and resistance, and then it's just twisted and made up to all these different new names and all these different new things. So let's just go right into it, and let's look at recent price action, recent Bitcoin price action. We're going to turn off everything. We're going to turn off that. We're going to turn off the moving averages. I mean, I use everything in Confluence to open trades and to gauge the market. But let's just look at recent price action to see how you would have fared if you would have just been trading simple strategies like support, resistance, trend lines, and patterns. So starting August, the beginning of August, we started to form this light blue line, this light blue pattern, which is what? An ascending triangle. So we had a touch here, we had a touch here, we had a touch here, we came down. Of course, this is the resistance, the top side resistance. So what are we doing? We're using this as a resistance. We're using this trend line as a resistance. We have this upward sloping trend line. We're using this as what? Support. So we had it here, we had it here, we came down here. We also had this macro range coming in as support. I'm not drawing anything else. I'm not looking at any other oscillators, any other indicators. We just have this that's just been acting as a huge SR flip. Let's actually go to the 4 hour so we can see this line here. We have it here, here, here. So let's zoom back in and let's see how you could have traded this pattern and these trend lines, these support resistance trend lines and whatnot. So what do we usually say with ascending triangles? Usually around the third touch, we get a breakout of an ascending triangle if it's going to be bullish. So we have 1, 2, so we have 3. Then we hit the top side. We broke out. So if you would have just longed the breakout as a swing trade, you would have made money. And where would you have went? What would have been your take profit? This area here, up here, this trend line here would have been your take profit. And what did we do? We came right up to this area here for your take profit. So we're just using simple support and resistance, and we're using simple patterns. So you would have made money there. Then we had a bull flag. So usually we know bull flags are bullish. So we consolidated. We broke up, fake out. So usually when I see these bullish patterns, these bull flags with a breakout and then a fake out, I'm thinking I'm leaning a little bit more bearish. So what did we do? We came back into the bull flag, and let's go zoom in and let's see what happens. All right. Came back in, came out. What do we do? Retest. This is the number one thing that they teach you in trading. They say you break down, retest the top side resistance, boom, break down. So what do? We broke down. We zoomed into the 5 minute. I usually trade from the 1 hour, then zoom into the 5 minute or the 15 to get a sniper's view. We came up, retested. Now what do? We came down. Then we had a nice little, well, it wasn't even nice, but it was a small little bounce where at the top side of our ascending triangle. So we tried to use this as support. We got a nice little or a small little bounce here. And then we came back in. And I told the community that usually if we have an ascending triangle and it breaks out, and then it comes back in, we're going to just slice right through it, like hot butter, knife through hot butter. And we did that. We did that. So if you would have took this short, if you would have came here, we had the retest. This is a means for a short. This is a short signal. We're not using anything else. We're just using patterns, and we're using the strategies that have been taught for years and years and years. So if you would have took this trade here, you probably would have got stopped out. But we came back in. You could have flipped short after we came back down, retested, broke all the way down. Where would you have taken profits at? The top side of the ascending triangle, which we would want to act as support now, since it was acting as resistance. So we did get a small little bounce off of there, but then we broke right through. And then usually, like I said, once we break through an ascending triangle, we break out and we come back in, we slice right through it through hot butter. And then what did we form? We formed a what? Bear flag. So with this bear flag, we consolidated, but we went up, came down. What did we do? We retested this 57.8, 57.9 support again, came back up, got rejected, came back down, and then now what are we doing? Now we are testing the bottom side of this ascending triangle. So I mean, support and resistance, trend lines, patterns, we can see that it's respecting respecting these lines. Like if we're respecting these lines, of course, I'll turn on my indicators, I'll turn on my oscillators, and I'll see, get some confluence. But if you really just want to learn how to trade, these are the basics. So to say these things don't work, we're looking at it in real time. How is work? Well, not real time, we're looking back, but it's showing you, like when you do your back testing and you see these type of patterns and you see these type of trend lines, you see these type of support and resistance lines, you can see, like, in all honesty, they work. In all honesty, they work. Now, do I just suggest you just trade like this, willy-nilly with just support and resistance lines and trend lines and patterns? You can. I know a lot of successful traders who do it. I don't do it, but this is the basic premise. This is the basic overview of my chart. So like I said, we came up, bear flag, broke down. So if you would have caught this trade on this bear flag, we came up. What did we do? We broke down. So from here, from 59.2 all the way down to 58 points, that's $1,000 move. Like, these are great trades. And where would we know to take profit? At this here, at this mustard colored line, orange colored line, whatever color it is, at our major SR flip, our major support and resistance bar right here. So these are trades, like, you could take. Like, we didn't use anything else. We're just using simple support, resistance, and patterns and trend lines. So like I said, you would have broke down, came up, you would have had your take profit right here. Then what do? We bounced, and now where are we stopping? We're stopping at the bottom side of the ascending triangle, which is the upper sloping trend line resistance now, which goes all the way back to the beginning of what? To the beginning of August. So I mean, this is obvious. To say these things don't work, a lot of people have this, they have these order blocks, which is I use that sometimes too. They have all these other vector candles and all that. I don't even know what that is. Like, whatever works for you, but to negate, like I said, to tell me or tell people that trend lines don't work, that these patterns don't work, they may be elementary, they may be like everybody's looking at them, but if everybody's looking at the same thing and everybody's going to trade in the same direction, how many times will it go in that direction? Unless some market makers want to come in, fake you out, or take the most liquidity from people who are trading the same way. But for the most part, every time, when I see these things, it's simple for me. I'll just use my risk management. Let's just go back here. Like, let's say this was a fake out. So I would use risk management here. When we got the breakout, if we zoom in, if we stuck to our rules, what do? We wait for a retest. So we came up, we got a small little retest here, if you want to call that a retest. If you want to zoom in a little bit more, we came up, got a small little retest here at about 64.4, and then we came all the way up to 65.1. So that was a good trade in itself. If you would have had your stop loss, somewhere up in this area here, or you could have put your stop loss, once we went up, you could have put your stop loss somewhere at about 64.8 for a small little gain. And like I said, once we broke back into it, then you would flip short, came up for the retest, and then waited for a few candles, a few 5-minute candles, looked at, see where the market was going. And you could have just flipped short, and you could have shorted it all the way back to the top side of our ascending triangle that we had. Excuse me, that was resistance. Then we broke out a little bit earlier, a few days ago. So I think these simple strategies work. A lot of people have a lot of different ways to trade. Me, I keep it simple, and I use the more simplistic ways to add to confluence. But if you just trade like this, I think you can be a little bit successful if your risk management is up to par. So to say, support and resistance lines and patterns and trend lines don't work, man, that's kind of crazy to me. And I would challenge anybody to a trade-off. You know what I mean? If I just use my simple strategy and you use your super Albert Einstein strategy, I'll challenge anybody to a trade-off. And I'll just use this strategy, with proper risk management, and we can go from there. So I just wanted to come make this video because I see a lot of people downplaying trend lines. They call them, I'm not even gonna say the word they call them. A lot of people downplaying patterns, a lot of people downplaying support and resistance, but in essence, that's the overall core. These are the overall cores of trading. So like I said, to discount these are a little bit nuts to me, So let me know what you think, man. Are support and resistance, trend lines, patterns, do they work? Do they not work? Have they worked for you? Let me know, because they work for me. They work for me, and I've been trading for about 2.5, 3 years. Really starting to hone in on my skills these past 5 months. So we're going to keep back testing. We're going to keep trading. We're going to keep looking at these structures, looking at this price action, and of course trying to get better. And of course we have our indicators. We use moving averages. We have different indicators that we use in order to add confluence. Of course we use money flow volume. We use RSI. But for the overall, when I'm first looking at the market, I'm drawing out my trend lines, I'm drawing out my support and resistance, and I'm looking for a lot of these patterns. I really only use like 4 or 5, maybe not even that many, but for the most part, that's how I draw my chart. And then once my conditions are met, then I'll go to my second, third, fourth confluence. It's really second and third, which would be my indicators like money flow, RSI, stochastic, sometimes MACD. It just depends. Usually I'll just use, my RSIs, some moving averages, simple moving averages. And I go from there, man. And I just use proper risk management, So it's really that simple for me. It's not simple, but the way I use my strategy is simple for me. And if it don't work, then I'll just get stopped out for a small loss and, look for the next trade. So this is FD White, man. Make sure you make sure you subscribe. I will be going live a little bit later, possibly some live trading to use my, to see if my strategy has, so you can see the strategy basically live in action. So we will be doing that. I am in the championship of trading wars over on Crypto Keepers channel. So we will be doing that Monday. I'm not sure if it's 9:30 or 1 o'clock. So I'll let the community know. But we're gonna try to go and win that, and go from there. So it's FD White. Like I said, make sure you like, subscribe. I will talk to everybody in the next video. Peace.